Hello teacups, what's brewing? I hope you're well. I have finished school. I'm so happy. School is out for summer, so hopefully I'll be able to update here a little bit more frequently and be a little less behind the times, as you know I always am. Now I have been wanting to react to the stuff Foodie's been doing because she started a new health journey, but the last few days of term I didn't really have time. But while I was gone, Foodie did start a health journey which felt quite nostalgic. She used to go through these cycles. It felt like every few days, to be completely fair, but this used to be a lot more like her old content, and it was content that I could relate to a lot better than the drugs content. So it was, I want to say, nice to see it back. I think she's going to go through all the same loops, but it was at least something that I have somewhat of life experience and knowledge about. Now, she had done a video at some point, I can't remember which one it was, where she was talking about the real reason she won't travel and saying that it was because of her weight and her health and the discomfort of flying and things like that. And those would definitely be a factor in things that would make travel hard. However, I still fully believe that they didn't travel because of visa issues. I think that is still an issue that's part of this plan she's got to go traveling in the future, because at first she said, I'm not going to tell you where and I'm not going to tell you when, it's going to be a surprise. But then later it came out, she was like, oh, we're traveling in a few months. Now, if you remember recently, she got quiet for 4 or 5 days and I said, I think they've just driven over a border or taken a short flight, probably driven over a border and gotten her a new visa. And I had nothing to back that up at the time other than suspicion, because she could have just extended the visa she had for a month if they would allow her to. I know she got rejected before, but now she's saying, okay, in a few months I'm going to travel again, which to me, the timing just lines up too coincidentally. I think she renewed her tourist visa whenever she got quiet, and now in 3 months she's going to have to do it again. So surprise, there's a trip. Again, who am I? What do I know? But these coincidences are stacking up. So let's look a little bit at Foodie's last few videos. She had a few sort of health reset videos, and she had a live. The live I just kind of cut through to see if there was anything new or interesting. There wasn't really, but the videos I've gone through. So we start with reset day 1. She's filming her intro after everything's already happened. She is very out of breath. She said she's been putting food away and things in the kitchen, but when you consider that, that is not a physically taxing job, and she is very, very out of breath for what she's claiming to have done. She doesn't seem particularly convinced that she can do this, which I understand the doubts. Like, you fail everything until you don't when it comes to weight loss. So given her history, it's not surprising that she's not overly hopeful. She does say, through her faith in God and prayer, and if she keeps saying no, she'll be in a better place. And I'm sorry, but if her commitment to her new religion is the thing that this hangs on, she is fucked. But she doesn't blame us for being critical, which, okay, great, no problem there then. She says she wants to be more disciplined in her character, and I guess by sticking to this is an example of that. And this is where she mentioned that the trip is a few months away. So we don't have an exact date, but like I say, it's lining up about. She does bring back the hormonal imbalance conversation, which brought up a few questions, which she won't have answers for because she's not working with a doctor. Because why would you do that? Why would you do that on a health journey? But the hormonal correction that she's going to do through eating proper food is an idea that she's long presented on channel, so she's just bringing it back. But it did make me think, did she end up going to the doctor during her time in Canada and getting a refill on her hormone medicine? Because I know she's meant to be on it. I know she's been on and off it all this time, but she was off it for quite a while. And even if she did go to the doctor while she was in Canada and get it, like, she'll be at the point now where it's running out, even if she got like a 3-month supply. So like, all the hormonal stuff just makes everything harder. And as ever, I don't know why she doesn't take better care of herself, but here we are. I don't think she ever really sits and thinks it through. Like, working with a doctor will make this easier because you can be correctly medicated, you can have someone who's actually knowledgeable look at all the different complaints you have and come up with a great plan. but it's also going to be harder conversations face to face, which is why she avoids it. Now, in terms of getting a doctor in Kuwait, that's a whole nother thing, because to get a regular GP, you would have to be a resident, which I still don't believe she is. But she could use like the clinics. However, if it's a case of ongoing care, that's going to be a problem. So they go to the commercial produce market. Sorry, I've got some notes down here. They go to the commercial produce market. I'm not sure why they chose that, other than maybe it's just cheap and available. It's a place to take us, I suppose, but the amount of produce she buys seems unrealistic. She's not going full fruitarian again, but I don't see any way she could possibly eat all that produce in that time. Like, it's just going to rot. She got a crate of, there were 15 figs on the top, and I was like, that's a lot of figs. And then she ate one and I realized it was double layered. Like 30 figs and 6 melons and the world's largest watermelon. Like, what? How are you going to finish all that? Come on. She showed a load of polystyrene containers for vegetables and things that you can actually buy them in the supermarkets here. They're usually between 1 and 2 kilos, and they're marketed as family packs. So this isn't something she has to go all the way out to the produce market for. But like I say, that might just be for the sake of being able to vlog it. But for real, like, what is she gonna do with, was it a crate of mangoes she bought and one of the big polystyrene containers of lemons? Yeah, you can put them into water, but do you need 20 of them? She doesn't sit and cook or bake, so it's not like she's gonna make anything with them. The call to prayer is going, which tells us it's reasonably late. I think the call to prayer in the evening goes around 8:30 now, around then. And so a lot of the market is like closed down. It's very quiet. They've probably planned it that way. And she says she's going to the gym after this, which, given when she comes out of the market, she seems pretty tired and her body seems pretty much done. I wonder how much she could realistically get done, but her yalla did not sound happy. She claimed she did 45 minutes in the gym. I can believe she stayed in the gym for 45 minutes, but I've heard her breathe after 6 steps of walking. I can't see how she'd be able to sustain 45 minutes of activity. I did also think she was talking about how she couldn't film her actually doing stuff with the camera the other way because she doesn't wear a hijab, but she's got hair loss issues, and she reaffirmed at some point, maybe when I was skipping through the live, that her hair is still quite patchy. And even if it's not, it's still going to be really very short. I wonder what she does at the gym. I wonder if she wears something over her head that's not the hijab, because I don't see her just taking the hijab off and going bare. So I don't know, she's probably got some kind of head thing, but it just made me wonder, because I don't think, she's very self-conscious. I don't think she would just not wear the hijab and be bareheaded. In which case, if she's got her hair covered, I don't see the problem in showing what she's doing. But that's a comfort thing, and it's up to her. Moving into the Skinny Legend mukbang that she put up later that day, that was her eating half a chicken that they'd ordered and then a salad with the packs and packs of lettuce they'd bought. She talks about Julia and starts with the classic foodie tell of, Julia's not a street cat, but even if she were, what does it matter? And that's basically the hallmark sentence of any lie she ever tells. It doesn't matter, but why lie about it? I'm guessing it's to avoid questions about shots and everything like that, because obviously you bring a cat in from off the streets and there's a lot of questions about how the health of the cat is and what they're doing to check on that health, and she probably didn't want to get into it. We are unfortunately returned to some variation of our cats on the counter routine. Julia is there for every meal. Foodie is going through this routine where she puts food on the table, the cat jumps up, she tells the cat no like it can understand English, has a conversation about how you really can't have this, my darling, then feeds her from her food on the table and is somehow shocked that the cat keeps getting up to get more food. She then says that she's kind of feral in how she reacts to food, and maybe she was feral before the last person definitely gave them to her. And I'm like, oh, really? I am not gonna lie though. Watching Foodie hit like genuine panic at points trying to fight her cat for the chicken on the plate It was quite funny. Because obviously she's only got that portion because she's doing a diet thing. So if the cat comes and steals a chicken, she's got no more chicken. She's like, no, the chicken's not for you. I shouldn't have found it as amusing, guys, as I did, but I really did. I'm like, just get up and move the cat. It's okay. No, that's not how this ended. She talks about her weight going up. She posted a weigh-in and she explains that she's a night eater and that she keeps going for high density foods, it seems, where it's like high density calorie foods like nuts, for example, plus the fast food and anything else we don't see her eat. She claims she's going to eat a salad every day and she's going to be making more recipes. Hence, she got a load of the produce and stuff like that. People ask her about Salah not being in the mukbangs. She said he doesn't like eating on camera, that they eat together when she's not filming, but she does film most of the main meal she eats, so I'm not sure exactly when that would work, but okay, I guess they eat a snack together or something. So move on to day 2, which is ouchie something. Proof that she's totally taking care of the cat, you guys, by showing in the forgotten clips that, yeah, they took her to see some kind of animal professional. She is not excited about the gym, which, relatable. There are some cringe moments in the mirror with Salah, and really, are there any other kind when it comes to Salah? Like, it's not getting better. You would think he would become more natural with the camera, but no. Every time they touch, I just go, no. So we see the elevator, we see the front of her gym, and then we cut to after. She claims that her back hurts, which will be an ongoing thing with these episodes, with these videos, and she's a bit self-conscious getting on some of the machines, which I can understand because those machines can be a bit intimidating if you don't know what you're doing and you're her size. But hadn't she claimed that she'd already done all the machines? Like when she first got the gym membership, she'd gone in, she'd done the machines, and am I remembering this incorrectly? Did she say she had a trainer or something? Or maybe that she was thinking about getting a trainer, but it was expensive? Or am I mixing that up with Salah's package? Like, I confused myself a little bit. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm not about to wade back and find out. So if you remember, please in the comments below. But if she had a trainer, or even most gyms will do an introductory session with a trainer and they'll show you how to use the machines. So I would say just do that for one time and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. So back in the car, her and Salah are having a very supportive, very not rehearsed conversation where they're touching each other's face in an attempt to show they love each other, and it's awkward and uncomfortable once again. Now on the way back, when they go back to their apartment, they show that there's a small gym in the apartment, and I don't understand why she's not using that then, because gym packages in the Middle East are very expensive. I don't know how much her Kuwaiti one is, but I looked at gym packages here and I was like, nah, absolutely not. I've got an elliptical in there and the school has a fitness suite, which is small, but it will do the job. I was like, it is not worth the money, especially as I don't drive, so I'd have to take a taxi there every time. Like, I don't want to deal with that, so I didn't go for it, but I can't imagine it's cheap what they're paying for, especially as they're paying for 2 of them. They've got Salah's membership, and then they've got hers in the women's gym. There's a weird cut of the giant watermelon, and it's just on like the plastic with the knife, so I guess she's about to cut it directly onto the plastic, which doesn't seem like a good idea, but given that she used to cut watermelon directly onto a dining table, I suppose it's not a surprise. But it was weird because after that clip, she was saying, you know, she hurt herself and then she won't be back in the gym the next day. It's kind of shooting pain. But I'm like, if you were carrying a giant watermelon to the table, wouldn't that have been too much for your back? Sorry, wouldn't have that. You know what I mean. But if you were having shooting pain, you would have felt that picking up the giant watermelon, which is quite heavy. So are these just clips she filmed earlier and then cut into the video, and then it went to, oh, I'm in pain? Was she just taking any clip to make up the time? Is it part of her forgotten clips? Maybe, who knows? It doesn't surprise me she hurt herself. She said she doesn't know if stretching will help make it better or worse, and my God, she needs to see a doctor like yesterday. Even if she doesn't like talk about any of her historical issues, just the sense of, I've messed up my back, I'm doing the gym, help me, so she doesn't hurt herself further. But it's been a whole day at the gym. I doubt there's going to be a day 3. So, yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. Moving on to day 3, we've got the chicken piccata diet food thing. She's sitting on the floor, and her floors are either tiled or wood, I can't remember, but it's hard floor. And then she's just got the couch at her back. That seems like it would be terrible for her back pain. Like, even if she didn't have a hurt back, that would hurt it. And why is she not sitting on the couch? Because getting down into that position has to hurt if she's got back pain. And getting out of it, like, even without a back issue, her size makes it difficult for her to maneuver up and down. So why would you do that to yourself? And she said she doesn't have a good setup, but like, I'm sorry, if you've got a camera, you can put that camera on top of something, you can sit on the sofa and you can have it pointing down, showing you in your meal. There's no reason for it to be that way, and she's just going to make it worse. She said she started a diet food order. I think this is probably through a delivery app. I remember seeing on like Talabat and what was the other one called? Hunger Station in Saudi. Where if you typed it in, you'd find some people willing to deliver single meals, so she doesn't have to sign up for a program yet. She does mention the program later, but she's trying out different things. But it looks like the stuff she's getting, for what she's getting, seems to be quite expensive. I don't think she's getting good value for money then. But that being said, I don't think it's a bad choice for her if she's willing to spend the money, because it is pre-portioned. It scratches that itch in her brain that she can order food and have it delivered, and it requires practically no effort. And I thought the same. Do you remember when Amber Lynn went through the meal service that she was getting, and it seemed to be working out for her? Like, no shade to it. I think it's a good idea. If she doesn't want to do the work of prepping, it's an expensive way to get food, but it would be a good way to do it for her. However, she won't control what she's eating around these orders. So I don't think it's going to be successful long term. And indeed, she's already broken it. Spoiler alert for day 4 or 5, day 5. I know she eats everything out of containers, but I can't help but think, especially when she's got the diet meals, so the food itself isn't going to be exciting to her. Like, getting a plate, portioning it out. If she'd taken her orzo rice salad thing, her, wow, my brain said no then. Her chicken and her side, was it broccoli? I think it was broccoli. No, Brussels sprouts. It would have looked like a full plate, and I think that would have helped to trick her brain a little bit more. But having it all in the separate containers just makes it look smaller than it is. She also ordered an ice cream for dessert. Oh my God, she seemed to hate it. She took a bite and was like, She recounts a nightmare about being in high school at 40 and then trying to move around Doha airport and a snake trying to eat a cat. So not at all revealing of the things that stick with her mentally at all. Moving on to day 4, we had the Cajun chicken diet box, which again, not a problem with it. This one seemed like more food and the calories were higher. They were about 1,000. But even with 1,000 calories, she can still fit that into her needs. So it's absolutely fine. Still on the floor despite the pain, so learning nothing. Again, get a stand, get a taller tripod, get something, and just sit yourself on the sofa for now. Keep yourself upright, support your back. She starts talking about all the produce and how they're actually eating it, and she says when she gets hungry, she eats potatoes with butter because they're satiating, which I don't know why that word irritates me so much from her, but it does. I think she just thinks satiating sounds more acceptable than filling, even though it's exactly the same thing in this case. But I don't think potatoes are the way to go here. Like, take some of the produce. Did they actually buy any vegetables? They bought lettuce, but did they buy vegetables? Like, go and roast some broccoli, go and roast some cauliflower, go and roast some Brussels sprouts if you can get them. You can get small amounts here. I used to love roasted Brussels sprouts, but they're just expensive and kind of harder to find here. I'm looking for a note I had, sorry. Anyway, I count potato as a starch for the sake of nutrition. I know technically you can say, no, it's a tuber, it could be classified as a vegetable, but for the amount of calories it is, I count it as a starch along with pasta and rice and things of that nature. So if I were looking for a vegetable to fill me up, I would definitely try and use a much lower density one, much less calories. We know that Foodie has a problem with portion control, and I think portion perception. So if you're having a baked potato loaded up with butter and other things, I think you're just going to end up eating way more than you think. And she kind of affirms this when she's talking later about the Indomie noodles. She was like, I thought they were 200 calories a pack. No, they're closer to 500 calories a pack. They're between 450 and 500. And when she was having those huge trays of Indomie, like, she was eating gotta be 4 packs. So that was almost 2,000 calories there and then for this snack she's eating. So her judgment on how much she's taking in is never really going to be good, especially if she has a really stronger sense of, well, this is healthy, so it's okay. It doesn't matter how much I eat. This is homemade. This is fresh. And all of those trick her into thinking, okay, so I can eat as much of it as I want. And that's actually a conversation I want to have in terms of the Weight Watcher stuff. She does say in this one that she's now taking the painkillers that were prescribed for Salah after his toe surgery, which doesn't seem like a good idea. You don't, like, it wasn't prescribed for you, don't take it. Now, in terms of it being a prescription medicine, I did look it up and it looked like it was available to order from the pharmacy. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I've got it written down in my notes somewhere. But she mentioned it. I looked it up. I'll put it in here. When you look at those warnings, you can see why she might be having trouble with her stomach, which is one of the reasons I would say, hey, maybe see a doctor. There seem to be a lot of side effects associated with this medication in a lot of areas that you don't have really strong footing on in terms of health. Something about asthma being affected. She has a lot of lung problems. My first question would want to be, hey, I notice this impacts the lungs. Is it also okay for me? But because it wasn't prescribed to her, she will never know. She doesn't have a great digestive system in terms of its reliability, and there was a lot of talk in the warnings about like Crohn's disease and ulcers and things like that. And I would want to have some conversations before taking it. I get that she's in pain and she probably just wants it to stop, but go see the doctor then. She shows the macros of the meal she's been eating. She's saying it's delicious, which great, food should be enjoyable, but you can see it's not really scratching the same itch as like takeout, like fast food does, and it wouldn't do. But she mentions there's a meal plan that the place does, that's between 200 to 300 a month. I'm assuming she means Kuwaiti dinar there, and that would be like, if I'm going in USD, 650 to just under 1,000 USD a month. And she says that, oh well, other places are much more expensive. And I suppose, I mean, isn't HelloFresh like $80 a week? And that's 3 meals, right? So I guess in terms of cost, if you were to flesh that out, you're getting, she says, like breakfast, 2 snacks and 1 main. So I guess she's getting more things for this. But think about how she does with HelloFresh. When HelloFresh came, she was like, nah, don't want to do it. Now that might have been because of the prep involved, but how often do you think she's going to say, oh, I don't feel like eating this now? She's got more chance of doing it because it's fully prepared already, but I wouldn't be hopeful. I think it would end up wasting money, and it does rely on her controlling herself. It relies on her not eating the meals one after another. It relies on her controlling what she eats around those meals. So I don't necessarily think it would be successful for her, but I suppose as an attempt, it's more likely to be successful than her cooking for herself. Speaking of the HelloFresh, I did have a random thought at this point. I was like, did she cancel? And when I was clicking through the live, someone asked her the question. She was like, I don't even remember. I'd have to check my card statement. And I'm like, oh God, that means no. Like, if you did it, you would remember. So somebody in that apartment is getting a HelloFresh delivery every 3 times a week and thanking God that their grocery bill is less. She tells a pretty uninteresting story about an apparent alien sighting. She says she might order from the company she's eating from, the Cajun Chicken Company, again tomorrow. and she's going to either look up or ask Salah about the stance of Islam on aliens. Oh, because she never learned, she started to complain about people commenting on her scale being broken when she weighs in. She says if she was going to lie, she'd make herself way lighter than that. And it's juvenile and to grow up. And I'm sure now that you've confirmed how much it irritates you, people will be sure to stop immediately. Random comment, she said she's been using petroleum jelly as moisturizer. And I was like, really? And I looked it up and apparently that's a thing. I had no idea. Is that any good? Has anyone tried that? I'd be interested to know. I always thought it didn't let your skin breathe and so it was a bad thing, but am I wrong? Have I just not heard of this? If you use it, please explain. As for the live stream, aside from the things that I've already mentioned, there wasn't a lot in it. I didn't watch it fully. I just kind of jumped through it. She's rehashing a lot of old events and old dramas so that she can justify herself in them. So not a lot of accountability there, nothing massively important. She does mention that she doesn't talk with Pete much, but they're still friends. Pete's cut the cord, man. And she says she has to order a diet meal for tonight because she's hungry, which, spoiler alert, she ordered Subway and wedges. Which brings us to day 5, Subway day. Now, this is where we can start to see this cycle turn a little because we've gone from okay, I'm going to eat fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, a little bit of lean protein, to, okay, well, I've got these meals. It's not that, but it's all portioned out and at least it will fit in with the way I live better, which I agree with, to, okay, this is also ordering in, but this is fast food, but it's healthy fast food. And she's going to turn that very, very quickly into burgers and crap. And speaking of how things turn, she, at some point, she tries the wedges, which is the real reason she's ordered this meal. And she says, oh, they taste baked. And she says that a couple of times. She seems a little bit disappointed and shows that you can see that they're baked. But then when Julia, yet again, comes to eat her food, she goes, you're not having a baked potato. Darling, it's not a baked potato. It is a potato product that has been baked, but it's got a coating on it, man. It does not equate itself with a baked potato you have just put into the oven. It's gone through a process and it's far less healthy. I mean, a baked potato, if you're eating carbs and it's fine. But again, control the portions. But this is, again, it's like when, you know, when she was using that halal doll sock account and she was like, and defending herself in the comments, being like, oh, you're going to complain that she's eating potatoes, chicken, and vegetables. And it was like, it was a chicken burger and some fries, or some Kentucky Fried Chicken and some fries. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Yes, technically chicken and vegetables, but come on now. Clearly far less healthy than you are presenting. Preparation matters, you know? But technical truths are her forte, and even though one is clearly far less healthy than the other, this is how it justifies in her brain. This is also the reason why Weight Watchers is a terrible idea for her. Now, again, we talk about the cycle turning. Okay, the diet meal plan isn't as fun as I want, so I'm going to do a little bit of fast food. Okay, this still isn't doing it for me. If I go on to Weight Watchers, that's a program, but it's she says it's more balanced. The truth is it's more flexible. Like, you can use your points on complete crap if you really want to. You'll pay for them, but you can. And that's what she wants. And this is why Weight Watchers is a terrible idea for her. Because she'll go through the same cycles Amber Lynn went through back in the day. Back in the 7, 8, 9 times that Amber Lynn has tried Weight Watchers. Because the point of any of these programs is essentially to give you a mechanism to trick you into taking in less calories, but feeling satisfied with them. And one of the ways they try to trick the psychology of how you eat is to say, well, you can have anything, but look, these things are better for you. We allow you more of them. You'll be more full. Now, quite aside from my personal viewpoints on diet programs like this, which is if they really worked in a way that could bypass all of your mental problems with food, the person who invented them would have a Nobel Prize. You know, it's not something that would be kept secret. obesity is one of the leading causes of death in the world, they would have a Nobel Prize. But the fact is, psychology is 9/10 of the battle when it comes to food with Chantal. So all she wants is the ability to say, no, this is on program, and eat what she wants. And she's hoping she's going to get that with Weight Watchers, because she will have points, and then she will have, do they still do like weekly points and daily points and whatever, or the free list? These ideas are predicated on the idea that you don't have a problem with food, which 99% of the time is not the issue. If you're coming in where something has temporarily made you put on weight, but you have no other issues with food, yes, Weight Watchers might help you control that because you've got nothing else you're fighting, and you might lose 10 pounds. Great, good for you. I'm glad the program worked. And then there are some exceptional human beings who happen to choose Weight Watchers, but were at a point where they were ready to put the work in and to succeed, and so they succeeded. And if they'd chosen another diet program, they would have succeeded this time anyway, because that's just mentally where they were. But if you have the kinds of problems around food that Foodie has, that I've had in my past, I recognize this as behavior I have, where the mechanism, either in your brain or physically in your body, that tells you you've had enough is broken, then all Weight Watchers is going to do is allow you to abuse the system, and you're not going to see the progress you want to see on it. Foodie doesn't have a stopping point in that way. So when she says she wants balance, she wants the ability to justify. She wants to do the mental gymnastics to get her to where she can eat the fast food she wants to eat every day and call it correct. Now, I don't know if they've actually booked tickets to go anywhere at this point, so you can see that, she does want to see a difference in the time, and she is on the clock for that. So it depends how desperate she gets as time goes on. But I don't think Weight Watchers is going to do anything for her. I think she's going to have it for a couple of days and fall off. Or we're going to start getting videos where you say, okay, I used my entire week's points, and now I have to do daily points. Oh, I went over. Oh, this and that. I mean, go and watch Amber Lynn's videos, and that's pretty much what we're going to get with Foodies, I believe. But the video for day 6 is not currently out as I record this. It might be after I finished editing, so we don't know what direction she went on, but her impulse control is quite low, so I'll be quite surprised if she didn't at least sign up for a month or something. We'll see. I don't know. All right, everybody, thank you for listening. As I say, I will try and be more active on channel as the summer goes on, because I'll have a bit more time to do so, which will be nice. And thank you so much for listening. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.